Hey guys, Ashley here with Keep It Crafty with Ashley. So today we are going to be working on some flower hearts. I'm going to first teach you how I like to lime wash, my background, and what I mean by lime wash. I've got some prepped here. Kind of got that like streaky background. So I'm going to show you how I like to do it. I started some violets, but we're going to work on some roses since violets are the February birth month flower. I decided to play around and make something like this. But for these, we're going to work on roses. Roses aren't until June, but I thought it would be fun because Valentine's Day is coming up, and when I think of Valentine's Day, I think of roses. So these are the colors you're going to need, alizarin crimson and true red. And you're also going to need white. And I like to use the Snow Titanium White. It's nice and bright. And then you're going to need a flat brush and then some dotting tools. A flat brush and then a round brush, I'm sorry, as well. And I'm going to use the Artist Loft one. And you can get these at Michael's. And they come in a pack with a few flat brushes, but I'll make sure to link that in the description of this video. So we're going to start with the darker red, which is crimson, alizarin crimson. And what we're going to do is we're going to place some dots all around. I'm going to grab some white, and if you've got a small bottle of white, do the same thing, but because I've got a larger bottle, I'm going to just pull up some white paint. I'm just going to kind of place it all around like that. Let me put my top on really quick so it doesn't dry out. And what we're looking for is that kind of like streaky effect. So you don't want it to blend too much. And I'm just kind of pulling my paint across. And as you can see, I've quite a bit. So I've got my second one chilling there so that I can just pull paint across. I actually kind of like that, so I'm just going to leave it. Oh, I like that white streak across. Leave that. Leave that. I've got some coming off here, so I'm just going to kind of pull it off. I'm going to leave that to let that dry. I'm going to bring the second one. I'm going to do the same thing, going back and forth. Pull up some. I got some paint on my fingers. It's a little messy. I'm a messy painter, so. All right, so I'm going to grab some more alizarin, the darker red. I'm just going to, come on, drop a couple around the heart. I'm just going to bring it across, and I'm going to grab more white too. But before I do that, make sure I clean my brush off first. Or actually, you know what? I think I kind of like, there we go. I think I like that. I think I might leave it. Okay, I'm just trying to even it out a little bit as far as like paint. Look, I got some more white on the back of my brush, so there we go. I'm gonna leave it alone. So I'm gonna let those dry. And actually, I'm gonna put a little bit more red in here. Got some red on my brush. So completely different. This is a little bit more, has a little bit more white. This is has a little bit more red. So I'm gonna let these dry over here. Clean my brush off. So yeah, you'll need a cup of water too. And we're gonna work on this bright red. This is a true red background. And I'm just gonna reverse. Oops, the colors here. All right. Actually, no, I'm gonna leave it. So I'm gonna take my true red again, and what I'm looking for, I'm gonna put my rose in the center here, and I'm gonna pour the true red into my paint well, and I'm gonna use my flat brush, and I'm just going to roughly paint a circle. Very roughly, but I'm gonna position mine in the center as best as I can. And this is gonna be a nice quick little, it's gonna be a teacher gift. a friend gift. You can do this. Dude, this would be fun. Toast like a Valentine's Day paint party. Okay, and I want this wet. Okay, so I'm gonna grab some more paint, kind of load it up. I'm gonna take that one round brush, okay? And you're gonna need white again. I'm gonna pour some white into my palette. So some white. And then I'm gonna load my brush up. I'm gonna take just a little bit of red just in case. And in the center, we're gonna work in the center first. We're gonna kind of carefully like make some swirlies. We're gonna start building the center of that rose. So now that I got kind of a center built, I'm gonna grab more white. I'm going to start making our swooshes, and I'm just carefully kind of like dragging paint around, doing like comma strokes all the way around. Start building the rose, grabbing more white from time to time when it starts to look like it's blending too much. There we go. Maybe put a little bit more white here so that I can see that it's more defined. There we go. We're going to slowly get bigger. We're going to keep these comma strokes. I'm going to do this one again too. A little too many. There we go. I like to alternate. So like see here, I've got the tail. So I'm going to slowly bring it around. Maybe come around this way. And our strokes our comma strokes are going to get a little bit bigger as we go around each time. I'm going to do the opposite way this time. Make this a little bit bigger. And I'm not applying too much pressure, kind of just letting the paint move across. Just building the outside. So I'm going to go the opposite direction of this one. Fill in this space a little bit. Just going around. I'm going to go the opposite way here. Just lightly and carefully going across the paint. I think I'm going to go the opposite way here, start my comma stroke here. And I want to bring the tail all the way around here to kind of fill this space. There. And we're just moving across. I want to make this stroke much bigger than the other ones. Maybe even pull it up. I'm going to pull up a little bit of red. I'm going to kind of help that because my paint is drying a little bit on the outside. I'm going to go the opposite way this way so that the tails touch. Grabbing some red. I'm going to put some red in here just to kind of blend it a little bit better. Here. It might look, when I first started painting these roses, first it kind of didn't, because it wasn't dried. To me, it didn't look very rosy. But then once it dried, I was like, okay. But you can see it's starting to come together. Don't know why I said that like that, but alright, I'm gonna work this way. You want your strokes to get bigger. I'm gonna fill this up. And then from that space, I'm gonna fill up this here just slightly. I'm gonna keep it thin so I don't go over like that. I think we're good. If you see that you want to add a little bit more red somewhere, so I'm gonna grab some red here. Maybe like add some into here, into this comma stroke, just to kind of tone that white down a little bit, maybe in here. So that's the outside of our rose. And I'm also going to show you on the same heart, because we want to fill the outsides a little bit. We're going to do the same kind of concept, but we're going to do it with a dotting tool. So we're going to use a dotting rod, and this is a 10 millimeter, and you can do different sizes throughout too, but I'm going to start kind of big, and we're going to do some cluster dotting. I'm going to grab some red, or cluster dotting. I'm going to put one like here. And I'm okay that there's some white in there because I'm going to end up adding more anyway. I'm going to start with that one first because I don't want it to start drying too quickly. I'll grab some white. And this is a 1.5 millimeter dotting tool that I'm using. And I'm going to do this, kind of the same thing, adding some white in the center. And then I'm going to slowly start creating these swooshes. And I'm just letting the red paint kind of take the white paint off of my dotting tool. Then I'm going to alternate how I'm making my comma strokes. Here. Just kind of trust the process. Probably should have gone the other way, but it's okay. I'm gonna go this way. I'm not applying much pressure. I'm literally just letting the red paint, I'm gonna go this way, pull off my white paint. Just filling up this space on the dot. Okay, there's another rose. Hey, I'm gonna actually bring you guys in a little bit so you can see a little better. All right, so again, I'm gonna use a 10 millimeter dotting tool. I'm gonna add more true red into my pot. I'm running out. I'm gonna dip my dotting rod. I'm gonna do one right here. Pulling up some white with the 1.5 millimeter dotting tool. Starting in the center of the rose, just kind of pulling white paint off. Starting in the center, and then I'm going to slowly start these like comma strokes. I'm going to go this way. You gradually want to get bigger. I'm not applying much pressure at all, just letting that red pull off the white. So I'm going to get bigger here. I'm going to go this way this time. Fill up this space a little bit, just gently. Go this way. Like that. And you're going to continue filling as much as you want or as little as you want throughout. But I'm going to speed this up a little bit so that we can get to the end so we can see what it looks like. So have fun, enjoy it. And yeah, the next few minutes are going to be hyperlapsed. Okay, see you at the end. Okay, so now that we have painted more roses around that center rose. Now we're just going to go in between with white, and we're going to do some dots. I'm going to use my 3mm dotting tool, grab some white, and we're just going to fill in some of this negative space. And I don't want to do too much. I'm just kind of doing some polka dots just to fill some of this. Don't want to go too crazy. Cover up any mess ups, like I had a little white smudge there. Maybe one here, maybe another one here. Maybe one right here too. I think I'm gonna leave it alone. And we're going to let that dry, because the next step we want to do is add some shimmer to our rose magnet heart. And we're going to use this Deco Art Americana Enchanted Shimmer in the color white. But I'm going to let this dry because we're going to go right over the top dot. So see you in a second. So now that we have let our dots dry, it's time to use the Enchanted Shimmer in the color white by Deco Art. I'm just going to pour a little bit into our paint well, and I'm going to use a 2.5mm dotting tool, and we're going to just top dot all these white dots. Just picking up paint, and we're just going right over the dots. Grab a little bit more. And we're going to let this dry before we varnish. And I'm going to tell you a couple of ways that we can seal this one after it dries. So I'll see you in a second. Let this dry for about an hour before we varnish. Okay, so now that we've let our heart dry, it's time to varnish our heart magnet. And I'm going to use a Clear gloss. I'm just going to go directly onto the heart. And even if you aren't going to resin, or even if you are, going to resin, this is a flat brush that I'm using to just spread the varnish. But anyway, even if you don't or do plan to resin, I would still recommend varnishing. I don't know, I just feel like it protects the design. It might not, but I just, out of habit, want to varnish before. So, and this is the gloss. Kids are yelling downstairs. Okay. Put a little too much on, but this is the gloss. This is what it looks like wet. Then you can see that Enchanted Shimmer start to really pop once you varnish it. I still see some streaks on mine. Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone now. So I'm gonna let this dry. I'll let it dry for at least an hour, but if I'm not in any rush to resin, I'll wait. There's a cat here and here. I'll wait a day. I'm usually not in any rush to resin these right away, so at the very least wait an hour, but yeah, I'll usually wait at least a day if I am not in any rush. So yep, so I'm going to set this aside, let it dry, and then I'm going to resin mine. You don't have to, but then I'll also show you what magnets I like to place onto the back of it, but also magnets are a matter of preference as well. So once this dries, we'll come back and we'll glue on the magnets to the back of this. Okay, so now that our heart is dry, I'm going to show you how I like to glue my magnets onto the back. I just use these round sticky ones. I will link them in the description of this video so that you can find it easily. But they've got adhesive backs to them, and they come in these sheets like this. But I still like to glue them just to be sure that they're not going to go anywhere. So I like to use E6000. I've been using this in arts and crafts, scrapbooking for years. So what I'm going to do is I took one off of the back, or off of the sheet, I'm sorry. And I'm going to put glue on the back. And I like to put 2 of these on here just to make sure, just to make sure that when people want to hang their magnet, it's secure on the refrigerator. Especially once you put resin on. If you do decide to put resin on, the resin makes it a little bit heavier. So keep that in mind too. I put a little bit too much on here, so I'm going to take it off. Take some off. And then I'm going to just stick it to the back. Like so. And here is your rose heart magnet. And again, if you want to put resin on it, you can. But if not, it's just as pretty without. But I'm going to put resin on, so I will show you what it looks like in the end. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and yeah, have a great day. Bye. All right, so here it is. Accidentally messed up here. I got a little too eager and put my hands in the resin. So I'm going to have to sand this down a little bit and clean it up, but you get the idea. Here it is, all finished. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and didn't run into any issues with your resin. And yeah, okay, see you for the next one. Bye.